Good morning, everybody. I hope you had a great weekend. The weather certainly has changed. We keep in our prayers, of course, what's going on down in Louisiana with the hurricane, but also keep in your prayers in a very special way our military, especially those who are serving in Afghanistan and the families of the Marines and the corpsmen that died last week in the explosion. Be with them and their families during this trying time. As we look at this week ahead of us, it's hard to believe Labor Day is just a week away. Summer's gone by too fast. There's lots of unknowns coming up in terms of the latest with COVID and all the issues with it. Kids going back to school, our older kids have gone back to college, and life is a little hectic. So how do we throttle back? How do we find time to bring God more into our lives? And I think that's what the readings are about all weekend. Moses talking to the people of Israel about the wisdom that comes from God to be a great nation. To know the wisdom of God, you have to spend time with him. Christ with the Pharisees. Were they getting so caught up with the minutiae that they forgot the important things about who God was in our hearts? And that second reading from St. James, I don't know whether you remember it all, but I'm going to read a sentence of it. James tells us, humbly welcome the word that has been planted in you and is able to save your souls. The word, which is Jesus Christ. I've quoted this so often, you hear me say it. Gospel of John, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. If we want to find some peace in our lives, myself included, I have to spend more time in the presence of God, and I really don't do it enough. Maybe this week we can do that. There's a great story about the Curé of Ars, who was a patron saint of parish priests. And there was this gentleman who used to go to his church every day, a farmer, and he'd lean his scythe against the front of the church and be in there for an hour or so. And the curé asked him one day, "What are you doing?" He said very simply, "I look at him and he looks at me." I think if we did that more often, whether it be paying a visit to the Blessed Sacrament Chapel in our parish and any of the parishes that we're near, or that we just spend time in the presence of God in prayer, He'll change our lives and give us the peace we need. So this week, find some time that you can look at Christ and He can look at you. God bless and have a great week.